What's up? What's up? It is Friday. You guys see what it is? Pause the screen. Yay, it is Friday. Again, pause the screen, get the agenda written, and then we're going to move forward. All right, y'all. Peace out on this screen. On to the next one. Okay, cool. So right here, I just wanted to make sure that you realize on your sting sessions, they can change up to 10 o'clock. So right after we get out of like around whatever third period or whatever the case is, whatever period that is. So just make sure to check around 10 because after it can change that morning. Because a lot of times what Mr. Farr will do, I'm going to tell you right now what I'll do. If someone signed up for like soccer, but I see they got missing assignments in my class, I'm pulling them out of soccer and I'm putting them into my class. I will check that morning. I will usually do it earlier. However, it may take a little bit longer. So just realize changes can be made up to 10 o'clock. Okay, cool. Moving forward, it is note-taking time. By the way, how is AI doing here? If you look, like, can you see any of the issues with the AI? Yeah, there's a few issues up in here, but it is note-taking time. So whenever we are about to take notes, I'm going to be, guess what time it is? And y'all going to say, it's note-taking time. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's move forward. All right. So we talked about this yesterday. What is science? And we're going to give a pretty thorough definition. So go ahead and get this written inside of your journal. You can put it right below where you put your answer. So science is a way of learning about what is in the natural world, how the natural world works, and how the natural world got to be the way it is. It is not simply a collection of facts or data or information. It's more than that. Rather, it is a path to understanding. So this is a pretty good working definition of what science is. There's all kinds of other things and there's very specific sciences, but this is a good working definition of what science is. Remember this, science is a way of learning. It is not the only way of learning, okay? And it's a way of learning about something very specific, the natural world. How does the world work? So what is out there in the world? How does it work? And then how did it get to be this way? So how did it get to be this way? How does it work? And what is just out there? We'll use this example that we've only discovered about 5 to 10% of the oceans on Earth. So there still is a lot of science type of work learning about what is just in the oceans, right? There's a lot of that going on. So we're looking and discovering and learning new things all the time. So I just wanted to make sure that you understand that science is a way of learning. And if it's a way of learning, does that mean we know everything? No, it's a path to understanding. And it's a constant learning, growing, stacking upon stacking upon stacking as we're learning new things. And once we think, if we ever get to a place where we think we know everything, we still have more learning to do. And that's the way science works. All right, make sure you have this definition now. Pause the screen if you need it. And I do want to say this. This is something I would do, okay? Mr. Farr is just going to show you a quick trick. This is exactly the definition that will be on the test. So just realize we're having a quiz next week, and this is what will be on there. So what I would put in my notes is I would put quiz, like right by it, and then I just put an arrow. Boom. Okay? That is the way I would do it. I would always take notes this way. So this is just a student tip to be like, if a teacher says, this is the type of problem I would put on the quiz, I would write quiz right next to it, and then I would circle that problem. Or I would underline that, or I just put quiz off to the side somewhere. But that is a way for you to notate, like, yo, this is the type of thing that would be on the quiz. I probably should notate that down. That way, when I'm going back to review my notes, I know for sure I've got to know that, okay? So that is just a student tip. Okay, so in class, I'm going to check your journal, do your journal check number 2. I decided to leave interactivity number 4 off, so I'm going to leave that for next week. I'm going to go ahead and get out of this pin situation, and then we'll go ahead and turn that off. Okay, cool. So I did want to show you that if you're like at home and you're watching this, then you still can turn it in. All you have to do is go right here, and then, oh, whoops, not there. Go into this week's module, and then you'll go down to where it says journal check number 2. And then you can start the assignment, right? Let me view it as a student. Then you can start the assignment, boom, and then you can turn it in as a PDF. So you would just scan it as a PDF, your normal way of scanning as a PDF, and then you would submit this as a PDF. Yes, you need to submit your agenda. Yes, you also need to submit your journal. Now here I have an example journal right here, okay? and this is exactly where you would scan in your agenda. So if this was the pages that I needed, I would scan in both pages. If it's too blurry, then just scan one page at a time. It's totally fine. But you can scan 2 pages at once, and you could put that pretty close up to the camera and get the scan done. So that way you don't have to have 50,000 pages. And it won't be a lot. Like, we're not going to be taking crazy amount of notes, so it won't be a crazy amount. But again, if you get this turned in, I give the whole weekend for those of the people who need to turn it in that way. You have the whole weekend to get that in before it will be marked late. So just realize that if you're not here, you can still turn it in. Not a problem. And there's some people who are independent study right now, so I'm talking to y'all. Y'all can still turn this in. No big deal. Okay, let's keep it pushing. Also, if you are not here today, make sure to ask for this when you come back. But we are giving out notebooks. You're going to put your name on the front. You see over there. And then you're going to put your name on the back as well, and put my name and put what period you're in, okay? So you need that information. That way, if it gets lost or misplaced, then we can get it back to you, no problem. Okay, let's keep it pushing. There's not much more in this video. Now, I did want to say this is the difference between a notebook and a scientific journal. Again, this is the difference between a notebook and a scientific journal, okay? So the one that says notebook on the front, that is your scientific notebook. The one over here, the one that we write in, is your scientific journal. Also, you were supposed to write that it's your scientific journal on the front. If you didn't write that now, that it's your scientific journal. That way you can just look at the front cover and be like, okay, this is the difference between the two. Let's keep on pushing. Now, this assignment is due today, okay? So we talked about this already. The instructions are actually linked right here. The instructions are written right there. The instructions are on the actual slides. And on top of all of that, there was a video, I think it was on Wednesday's video, that you can look at, that I just walked through the whole thing. So if you want that, go look at that video, or go look at this video, or just read. So there's plenty of places to get instructions from. Make sure to get this turned in. It is due today, Friday. It's due today by 11:59. Okay, and then the very last thing is, I do want you to check to make sure you're good. And Aries is cool, but check Canvas grades. That's where the stuff is happening. So make sure to check Canvas grades. Also check your email. And last but not least, I did just want to tell you guys, I love you guys. Boom. So just get comfortable with that. I decided I was going to love you guys, respect you guys, support you guys to the best of my possible ability as a teacher. Before, like in the summer, that's what I decided. So regardless of how you treat me, that is how I am going to treat you. So I just wanted to put that out there for you. Usually on Fridays, I might be like, I love you guys. Come back to me in one piece. Just be comfortable with that. Some people are like, why do you say that? Because there's some students that I have that they don't hear that at home. And it may not be because their parents don't love them. Maybe their parents just don't express that verbally, right? So it's important for people to hear that and know, right? Not just have to like kind of infer. It's important for people to be able to say that. And so I am going to be here to fill in that gap for whatever it is. And I want you guys to know that I really do care. If you need anything, if you're having an issue with people, or even at school or whatever, like, let me know. I will help you navigate and take care of it to the very best of my ability. And with that being said, it is a 3-day weekend, so please enjoy your weekend. I do want you to come back to me in one piece, so don't be wild and too crazy, okay? And then with that, you know what it is. I am smarter than I think. I am braver than I seem. I am stronger than I feel, and I can do difficult things. All right, y'all. Peace!